Joined now by a prospect of the Winnipeg Jets, Connor Levis, Kamloops Blazers forward, joins us. Connor, congratulations. It's drafted by the Winnipeg Jets in the 2023 NHL Draft. Let's go back to the end of June, shall we? Tell me about the day and what the emotions were like for you and those close to you when you saw your name go off the board there to Winnipeg.
Yeah, thanks a lot, first of all, Chris. I think it was just really exciting times for me. I just came back from a sprint session. I was working out and sitting in the car and saw that I got picked up by Winnipeg. So I was able to be with my family. I was just sitting there with my dad and my parents, my sister, and it was really cool to see my name get called, and obviously a really exciting place to get drafted to. Canadian team. I've always liked Winnipeg, so super awesome for me, and really excited to be a Jet.
Tell me a bit about your introduction to the franchise. It's probably a bit of a whirlwind for you, right? You get drafted, and then in a matter of days, you're taking part in a camp out there. But tell me what your initial impressions of Winnipeg were like. Some of the things you got to do out there when you were taking part in development camp over the summer.
Yeah, I think it was super professional. I think first of all, it was great staff, great organization, really cool facility that we got to train in and take part in and use all the amenities that they had to offer. And one thing I think that was really cool was just the friendships that I made there with some of the other prospects and guys invited to camp. I think we all got along really well, and I think that really contributes to having a competitive camp because we all want to push each other to be the best players we can, best versions of ourselves. And I think we did that and had some really good introductions with all the staff that were there. So I think it was a really good learning experience for me, and really good first kind of step to getting integrated with the organization. Really cool to be up there.
It's kind of funny how small the hockey world is, right, Connor? You look at the last couple of years in the playoffs and in the Memorial Cup. You guys have seen a lot of the Seattle Thunderbirds, and now you're in an NHL organization with guys like Brad Lambert and Tyrell Bauer and Thomas Milic. I
Yeah.
mean, is it kind of a bit of a wake up, maybe not a wake up call, but just an eye opener as to just how small the hockey world is when all of a sudden you're kind of on the same team as those guys?
Yeah, it's really funny. Obviously we're you know competitors on the ice when we're playing against each other, in the playoffs or Memorial Cup. And but when we're there, it's kind of a friendship. We compete against each other in practice, but off the ice, all super close. I room with Brad Lambert, so got to know him a little bit. He's a great guy, and Bauer was a leader off the ice, and I've known Milic for a little while, and with the same agency, and being a part of Vancouver, great guy, really good kid. So it was really cool to make some friendships with them, but it's pretty surreal to see kind of how far we've come. Playing in the WHL, playing in those playoffs and tight series, and being so competitive while we're playing them. We don't like them when we play them; they don't like us. But going to a camp and being with them was pretty cool.
One of two Blazers selected in this year's draft. Connor, your teammate Emmett Finney kind of really kind of shot up the boards and kind of took off in the second half of the season for you guys in Kamloops. What did it mean to you guys as an organization, as a team, to see him get selected by Detroit?
I think it was just super exciting for everybody. I mean, we knew he had a chance of getting drafted, but I don't think he was on any rankings. But um, his second half was incredible. He had a really great stretch there, and in the playoffs, played really well, really structured. Um, he's worked so hard. Obviously on a super deep team, he's obviously not getting the ice time that he would if he was on some other teams in the WHL. But I think it's made him want to work even harder to prove everybody that he's a really great player. And it was really nice to see him get rewarded for that and seeing him get drafted by Detroit. So just super happy for him, and I think the team's super happy for him as well.
Let's talk about your year, Connor. It was a busy one, right? And a chance for you to take part in a few different events over the course of the season. You look at the top prospects game out at the LEC, and obviously the deep playoff run for Kamloops, and hosting the Memorial Cup as well. When you look back on the year that was with the Blazers, what are some of the things that really stick out to you as far as things that you'll remember kind of more than just years ahead, maybe decades ahead as well?
I mean, there's so much. Like obviously as a Memorial Cup team, we built a brotherhood that was incredible. Like, I mean, it was, it was really sad to see us lose the Memorial Cup, but I think that's a moment that I will never forget. The opening ceremonies, being a part of all the festivities, being a hometown team with our fans and the crowd behind us and supporting us the entire way. I think it's something we won't forget, as brothers on the ice and off ice in the dressing room. But obviously super sad to lose, but I think that's going to be a memory we're going to cherish forever. And obviously we didn't get the outcome, but I mean, it was a super fun time for all of us.
The building was rocking, wasn't it?
It was awesome. Yeah.
Hey, let's look ahead now. I mean, you come into the 2023-24 season, headed to an NHL camp in Winnipeg, but you're going to be one of the go-to guys in Kamloops this year, right? How excited are you for that challenge and maybe, having even more of a prominent role than you've gotten to enjoy in years past?
Yeah, I mean, I'm super excited. Obviously we had a really deep team this year, so try and do a lot and help contribute to the team. But we had some really good players, so I think with a lot of guys leaving, it's gonna be pretty cool to take that leadership role with some older other returning players like Fraser Minton, and Emmett Finney. So I think it's gonna be really cool, for us to come into the next season, kind of prove everybody wrong. I think there's been some thoughts that we traded a lot of players for that Zellweger and Hofer, but I think we're going to have a really strong team next year. I don't see why we can't make an incredible playoff run and then push to win another championship. So I think it's going to be really exciting for me as an older player to help mentor some of the younger players coming in, and, try and help contribute to the team as much as possible. And I mean, I'm really excited to get going.
Hey, you talk about that mentorship too, right? And you've had plenty of guys that have been in the role you're in now in years past. The Stankovens, the Zellwegers, even a Dylan Garand, right, as a goaltender.
Mhm.
What do you take away from those guys? Is it more just habits and just mannerisms that you kind of take away from those guys in terms of, you know, learning and growing and becoming more of a professional as you get older?
I mean, there's lots of things you can take away from those guys. I mean, Stanks, Zelly, Dylan, like you mentioned. I think the number one thing that you really notice is their work ethic. They're not just good hockey players because they were given God-given talent. They've worked really hard for it, and you see it on and off the ice. And the character and that they have and the dedication to the game is, you can see it. And I think as a younger player, it's inspiring to see them put in that hard work. It makes you want to work even harder to be like them one day. So it's been really cool being able to play with them. You can learn lots from them when you're watching them in practices and games, and try and take away everything that they do and try and implement it in your game. So yeah, I think it's been really good for me.
Last one from me, a bit of a two-parter. What are you keeping busy with this summer? And by extension, with an NHL camp on the horizon here with Winnipeg, does your preparation change, over years past?
Um, yeah, I think there's definitely a little bit. Obviously I kind of got my foot in the door now, and I kind of know what I really need to work on to have a successful season next year, hopefully sign a contract, and you'll play for the Moose eventually in the near future. So I think for me it's really really working on that strength and endurance. I saw when I went to camp there. It's really big, and the speed. So working on that this summer, and obviously if I'm going to be playing hopefully a larger role next year with the Blazers, I can improve on my endurance and my strength. Hopefully playing some more minutes, I can ensure that I'm playing at a consistent level. So I think that's kind of the focus for me this summer, and been working on it so far, and looking pretty good. So really excited to get that going off and early in September or later in September here with the Blazers.